Welcome to Supreme Science Grenade Launcher, where today we are going to talk about the unseen multipliers of kaioken. Here are some rules that we'll have to follow for this video. Number 1, the multipliers that I'll talk about have to be between the multipliers seen in either a show or one of the non-canon movies. Yes, that does mean I'll have to count up to kaioken times something, so we can be just one away from kaioken times 100. But it should appear in a type of physical media except the games, as I don't know about the games. Let's start with the first unseen kaioken multiplier, kaioken times 5. 5 would be a really interesting multiplier to see, as if Goku had kaioken times 5 or he used it in any way. Let's start with how it would have affected his power level arriving on Namek. Used kaioken times 5 when he arrived on Namek, he would have ended up with a power level of 45,000. Not enough to beat Frieza, but surely enough to be able to defeat the whole Ginyu force except Captain Ginyu. So kaioken times 5 is one of those multipliers that are half of a kaioken that has been seen in the show, being half of kaioken times 10. The second kaioken we are going to talk about that hasn't been seen in the show would be kaioken times 6. It has not been seen in the show also, and I'll also give an example how it could have affected the multipliers in the last power levels given during the Namek saga and the Saiyan saga. I'll use those power levels to use them so we can have examples. Let's use Goku's power level after the Zenkai he got at a power level of 3 million. If Goku used kaioken times 6 when he had a power level of 3 million, he would have a now power level of 18 million. Not enough to defeat Frieza, but 18 million is still strong enough to defeat Vegeta. So that is the second unseen kaioken. The third unseen kaioken in the show would be kaioken times 7. How kaioken times 7 would really affect the story is also the same as the other unseen kaiokens. Let me show you how it could have been used during the Namek or Saiyan saga. Get a new kaioken during the Saiyan saga, it would multiply his power level of 18,000 times 7, if you knew kaioken times 7, to a power level of 126,000. That surely would have been able to beat Goku, but luckily for us, he didn't know kaioken during that time. The next unseen kaioken multiplier would be kaioken times 8. Kaioken times 8 is nearly kaioken times 10, but is less than kaioken times 10 by 2. So it is closest, it's the second closest multiplier to kaioken times 10. And the farthest away from the second farthest away from kaioken times 4. Let's say one of the Z fighters had a power level of 2 million and used kaioken times 8. They would then get a power level of 16 million, showing that it is actually a very good multiplier. The next unseen kaioken multiplier would be kaioken times 9. So kaioken times 10, as it's only one away from being kaioken times 10, it is one of the strongest kaioken unseen multipliers up to kaioken times 10. Of course, there'll be stronger ones once we reach the ones between 10 and 20, but between 1 and 10, it's one of the few strongest ones between them both. Using a power level of, let's say, example, the power level of when Raditz fought Raditz in the Saiyan saga of 416, if he had kaioken times 9, he would have a power level of 3,744, and most likely would have been able to defeat Raditz quickly. But sadly for him, he didn't know kaioken at that time. And that is the Kaiokens unseen between 1 and 10. Let's go to the unseen Kaiokens between 10 and 20. This category would be kaioken times 11. Kaioken times 11 is an 11 times boost of the base form of any wielder of the technique. Using an example of a power level of 120,000, if the wielder has a base power of such magnitude and uses kaioken times 11, they would have a power level of 1,320,000. A very strong power level, but still can't beat Namek Saga Freezer. The next unseen kaioken multiplier would be kaioken times 12. Times 12 would be the same as every other kaioken, being a multiplier to the base power. So now let's give an example using a power level that is small as in 1 from Gohan before he was enraged and was kidnapped by Raditz back when he still had a power level of 1. Of course, we can see that if he used Kaioken times 12, he would have a power level of 12 because 1 times 12 is 12, a simple mathematical thing. The next Kaioken multiplier that hasn't been seen in Dragon Ball Z and Super would be Kaioken times 13. An example of a power level to show how this could have affected any power level in the show. Let's use a power level of 27,000. If any user with a power level of 27,000 used Kaioken times 13, they would then have a power level of 351,000. That would make them stronger than base form Goku during the Saiyan Saga and Captain Ginyu, who had a power level of 120,000. Unseen Kaioken would be Kaioken times 14, the lucky number 14. So, if a user with a base power level of 95,000 used Kaioken times 14, they would then have a power level of 1,330,000. Thus, they would be a very strong fighter. Next unseen Kaioken multiplier would be Kaioken times 15. With a power level of 1,330,000 used Kaioken times 15, they would have a power level of 19,950,000. That's a very strong power level. One can even say it's over 9,000. The next unseen Kaioken multiplier would be Kaioken times 16. If a user of Kaioken times 16 had a base power level of 3,500,000, then used Kaioken times 16, they would have a power level of 56 million. That's a very big power level. Let's continue with the next unseen Kaioken multiplier, Kaioken times 17. Person who has the ability to use Kaioken times 17 had a base power level of 20 million and then used Kaioken times 17. They would have a power level of 340 million. Next Kaioken multiplier would be Kaioken times 18 and also Kaioken times 19. They would multiply their base power level by, if they are using Kaioken times 18, 18 times as strong as their base. And if they are using Kaioken times 19, it will be 19th stronger than their base. Now let's talk about the Kaioken multipliers that should exist if in the Lord Slug movie Goku used Kaioken times 100. Let me go through a speed run of all those Kaiokens. I won't say Kaioken, I'll just say the multiplier. 2, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 20, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38, 39, 40, 41, 42, 43, 44, 45, 46, 47, 48, 49, 50, 51, 52, 53, 54, 55, 56, 57, 58, 59, 60, 61, 62, 63, 64, 65, 66, 67, 68, 69, 70, 71, 72, 73, 74, 75, 76, 77, 78, 79, 80, 81, 82, 83, 84, 85, 86, 87, 88, 89, 90, 91, 92, 93, 94, 95, 96, 97, 98, 99. All the kaiokens that should exist if in the Lord Slug movie Goku used kaioken times 100. Those ones should exist in the between. Thank you for watching my video. People have made it to the end. I am very happy that you have been able to see the video in full. I was very happy to make this video, and I hope that you will also see some of my other videos, and that you can be able to also watch them in full. Thank you for, please like, share, subscribe, and come again to watch another video from Supreme Science grenade launcher. I'm very honored that you used your time to be able to watch this, and I also hope it helps you in the exam. As you know, multipliers are also very good used in mathematics exams. Thanks for watching Supreme Science Grenade Launcher. And this is me. Thank you for you watching this video in the full extent of its length. And this is Supreme Science Grenade Launcher. Being very grateful that you watched this video in full length. I keep repeating it, but you know, if you watched it in full length, that will be a real good help, so I could get maybe some views so that I maybe reach 100 subscribers. Then I can hold a little special. But thank you for watching the video fully. This is Supreme Science Grenade Launcher heading out.